So Commissioner Collins isn't going to make it today, but Michelle is going to take over for him. So Michelle, you want to get started with your items?
Oh, you're muted, Michelle.
You would think that we would have gotten the hang of this by 6 months in. So the majority of the properties that we have on the agenda for the upcoming vote list are all either vacant commercial or vacant industrial sites. So city planning and the land bank have been working closely with the DEC over the last several months to come to an agreement to put a process in place by which we're able to finally foreclose on tax delinquent commercial and industrial sites that we suspect have brownfields. Previously, we haven't been able to do that because of concerns about the city becoming involved in the chain of title and then having us assuming the risk of responsibility for any type of contamination mitigation and cleanup that would have to come with redevelopment of those properties. But because of this agreement, we're now able to do that. So we have identified several sites that are kind of prioritized of all of the brownfields across the city that we wanted to prioritize for a first pilot for transfer to the land bank by the normal process. Doing that will allow the land bank to then kind of go through the standard procedures that the EPA requires for assessment to determine what the extent of contamination is of the sites, which is the first step for any type of kind of identifying what would need to be done for redevelopment to take place in the future. So I've circulated a few minutes ago a list via email to all of you, and I think Councilor Allen said that she had sent out the agenda as well. So if there's any questions about the specific sites, let me know.
Can you just run through them each individually?
Sure. So the first one that we have is 500 Holly Ave in District 1. It is a vacant commercial structure. It's the former Patrick's dry cleaner site. We have 541 Seymour Street, which is another vacant commercial structure. It's the Consolidated Industries site. 322-26 Delaware and Gray Street is another vacant commercial structure, has major structural issues. It's located in a primarily residential neighborhood and is definitely a major eyesore. 900 South Ave and Crescent Street is a gas station on South Ave. We have 1917-19 South Ave, which is another vacant commercial structure. 3801-07 Salina Street in Bennington, which is a vacant auto garage. 917 Montgomery and Burt Street, which is another vacant auto garage. 1208-18 South Salina Street, which is a vacant garage. And 1357 South Salina Street, which is yet another vacant auto garage. So collectively, all of those properties owe a little over 1.7 million in back taxes, working from even a kind of slightly older. It's increased since the time that this list was put together initially, but so it's definitely a major push for us to be able to get all of these kind of onto their next step to be able to get put back into some type of productive use. I should say too, all of these properties that we selected were based on kind of the proximity that they had. So they were either on a very highly traveled corridor where they're incredibly visible, or they were in an area where the neighborhood use kind of doesn't make sense. So a really heavily industrial site in a neighborhood that is now primarily residential, or had some type of proximity to strategic development that we know is going to be taking place that would otherwise kind of hinder the overall impact that could make.
So I'm assuming some of these have like some type of plans attached to them. The 900 South Ave and Crescent, that was a part of the South Ave corridor study. Do you know?
I'm not positive about that, Jen. I don't know if you have any specific things that are marked for that. I think.
Yeah, I have to go back and check, Councilor Allen, to see if there was a a particular use designated for that site on South Ave, but it would have been included in the portion of the corridor that was studied for that corridor study.
Okay. And so what happens, and well, this will probably be a conversation with, is Caitlin on? Caitlin, no, she's not on. Because some of these sites, like that one, for instance, like they're using that site right now to like cook food and sell food right now. So afterwards, like when it goes over to the land bank, like I was just interested if, like, how does that work? Like, are they gonna go over there and just shut everything down or what? But I'll talk to Caitlin offline on that one. Can you go back to the 1919 South Ave one?
Yep.
What was that you said now?
It's a vacant commercial structure was what we had in our notes.
Okay. I'm gonna have to drive by and see some of these.
I'm trying to think, Councilor Allen, the 1917 is either the old post office or it's the old Lenin's garage.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drive by because it's probably something I ride past all the time, but I can't right now. I just can't picture it. And I don't want to use Google Maps right now and then block my screen. But I'm gonna have to look that one up too. I think you're right though. It might be. I wonder because if it's the old post office, then didn't the land, and maybe Councilor Hogan, you can chime in. With that part of South Ave, is this where the land bank was trying to create that block to kind of market that entire block? You know?
Well, I believe so, Counselor. I'm wondering if it is the old post office though, or not further up. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I just checked. So 1917, it's directly across from Swallows. It says food on the outside and it's next to the community.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, that's my garage, Pat.
Yeah, that's right. The one on the corner there, right on Bright.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's do that one. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Just if I could. Oh,
go on. Go ahead, Pat. Go ahead.
No, Counselor. I'm just saying that I commend anybody who all the work you've done on this one. Delaware and Grace, that building is an incredible blight on the West End neighborhood. I'm so glad to see this on that list to come over to the land bank. So thank you.
We had 3 other items that are on the list as well that are all vacant lots. The first one was 311 Marcellus Street. So the land bank owns, so it's 311 Marcellus Street rear, excuse me. The land bank owns currently both 313 Marcellus Street and 311 Marcellus Street, which is the house in the front. The house in the front of 311 is a demolition candidate. The land bank has a buyer that intends to rehab and owner occupy the property at 313 Marcellus Street. So because of the way that these lots are configured, we thought that in this particular case, and also the fact that the frontage on the lot is a very small lot, it's only about 30 feet. In this particular case, because the adjacent owners are planning to owner occupy, we thought that it would make sense to put them together so that they could all become one parcel, given the size.
Excellent.
So the land bank will do the division, or will the owner do it?
The land bank will be handling all of it within all of its kind of purchase negotiation.
Okay.
The other property that we have, and I just realized that there was a typo on my sheet, but it's 360 Midland Ave, which is the corner lot at the intersection of Midland and Tallman. This property has been a long time eyesore and the subject of numerous complaints. So I know typically we have kind of only been going forward with transferring lots in cases where we had particular reasons for doing it. And this is very much one where we've had a lot of issues with just a lot of.
Michelle, I'm sorry.
360 Midland. It's a corner lot at the intersection of Midland and Tallman. It's the one that had RV in it for a pretty long time and a lot of cars and all kinds of nonsense.
Actually, Michelle, it had also which should actually get some national attention. They had a abandoned Central bus on that site too. It's not often you see a hoarder who can get a Central bus. You know, he should get some sort of an award or a TV show or something.
Yeah. So definitely a special case in that regard. And then the last one that we had was 120 Snell Terrace, which is a vacant lot in the valley. This is on a really steep slope. And so it doesn't have any really viable redevelopment kind of potential from that perspective. And the adjacent property owner raises fruit orchards, and he is interested in acquiring it so that he can expand his orchard planting.
Okay. The 360 Midland one, would that become like a buildable lot, or would it just be an empty lot?
That would be a buildable lot. It's definitely large enough that it could be a buildable lot. The house next door is also seizable. And there's a couple other land bank properties that are on that block. So that I guess the land bank has been having some challenges getting them sold because of the overall condition of both the house and the lot. So we thought in this particular case that being able to get them transferred over would just be the kind of first step to being able to have a kind of more strategic plan in that area. But it's certainly one that I think the land bank we would certainly advocate within NBD that it would be held for some type of buildable purpose, particularly because it is on the corner. So.
Okay. And those were the only ones you guys had?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I just have one comment. Michelle, I'm not connected to this city website, so you had my Gmail email because I haven't received any of the information.
Oh, okay. I'll make sure that I send it over to that one.
Thank you.
Yep.
You know, I just want to mention, as far as that Midland site, there are a lot of folks, working class folks that have done a lot in that neighborhood, and we've had a lot of complaints about that particular corner. And I am overjoyed that the land bank's going to get that, because I think that neighborhood has quite a bit of potential as far as the dedication of the residents in that area. So I just wanted to mention that.
All right, thank you. All right, and that was it from, I don't see anybody else on anyway, so that's all you have, Michelle. Thank you, and I am all set. So to the other committee members, are you guys okay with these items moving forward? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye.